And welcome back. Our second conversation this morning is all about empowering human resource leaders to drive organizational success. Joining us in studio is the founding member and director of the membership lead for the Belize Association of Human Resource Professionals, none other than Danielle Haylock Roberts. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Danielle is joined by Candice Canelo. She's also a founding member, and she's the secretary of the Belize Association of Human Resource Professionals. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Let's talk about empowering HR leaders to begin with, in terms of fully appreciating their role as leaders and driving the kind of organizational changes that would come about success.
Okay, well, HR, I have been in HR for 14 years, right? And it's somewhat considered a traditional function, you know, dealing with people, dealing with administration, payroll, discipline, performance management, but we play such a critical role in organizations. We are more strategic. We deal with talent. We deal with training and development, really preparing organizations to be ready for the next steps. One of the goals of the association, is for us to empower us as leaders and not just as paper pushers, right? And for us to really play a role at the table, being strategic, because your organization can't exist if you don't have the people. So while you have the machines, you have the equipment, you need people to work those. Yeah. And so that's why we're there to lead the process, right? And to really give us a seat at the table, per se.
So when we think of HR, I love that you started with the more traditional idea of what human resource representatives represents to society. I've oftentimes heard, I'd say a controversial saying that HR doesn't necessarily work for the people, or they're not there to support the people. They're there to support the company. What are your thoughts on that?
It's twofold, right? I keep saying we're the ones that they're not necessarily friends with. So it's kind of a lonely position to be in, but we work for both. So while we have rules and policies that we need to follow for organizations, we also are there for the employees. We're the voice of the employees. So it's twofolded, right? But in any event, we need to voice and advocate for the employees, but also protect the company when doing so. And in HR, we have so many rules and policies, legislations that we need to keep up with, both at the local level and the international level with the ILO conventions and stuff. So those are areas that it's not just getting people to work and motivating them and paying them. We need to make sure, we need to follow a lot of rules and policies to make sure that we're in compliance with laws.
Just to add to that, also looking at HR, we look at cultures, company cultures, workplace environment cultures, and how I could sum it up in a fun and easy way is a culture is the personality of a company. It's the vibe you get when you go into the doors. It's the how the decisions are made, how are people. And so I want to look at it as a garden. So you have the seeds that you plant, those are the attitudes and the behavior, and then you have to water the seeds, which is the support and the leadership that the employees need, and then you need to weed out. So you need to weed out the negative and the poor communication, and then that allows you to have that seamless environment, that working environment that employees strive in. So that's just an addition to that.
Yeah. There's a perception that many of us in the workplace have, where we look at HR as primarily the quote-unquote complaint board, so to speak, right? We don't look at the HR office as somewhere where we could look at opportunities for professional development around the workplace, right? How do we begin to change that mindset, or that misconception that HR is only there to lodge a complaint if something is not going the employee's way?
Well, HR is there for many things, for training and development, ensuring that we have the right people with the right skill set in the right position. So we're both for company and the employees, and that's why we ensure that there's proper policies in place and that it's fair. And that's why we tell most HR professionals to know your ethos. You need to know the business ethos, the type of business you're getting into, and if that matches back to you. And of course, we have to be there to hold people accountable, but we're also there to help them grow. So it's like she said, it's a twofold thing. It's not just we're there to discipline, we're also there to help grow and align the employee side of the business with the company goals. So what does the company want to achieve? It could be anything. You could change next year, you could have a different goal, and then our job is to ensure how do we get everyone on board, how do we get them motivated, how do we communicate the change to ensure that you understand it, you have enough time to ask questions, and at the end it's a win-win because you're happy that we communicated with you, and then we have that buy-in, and it's easier for us to get the job done, and then that equals to less gruntles or less disgruntled employees. So we ensure fairness on both ends.
What's interesting is that prior to this conversation, in our previous discussion, we were talking about change and the natural resistance to change by members of staff, if we could use the workplace as the example. And the fact that some of us are in a management position where we're tasked with driving change, but the people that we work with, because they're so used to doing something a particular way, to introduce something new or foreign to them as a concept or as a policy, automatically they begin to resist and buck against it because you're disrupting essentially what would have been something that they've been used to doing
the norm
for the number of years that they've been working with a company, for instance. How do we begin to address those kinds of issues? Because you could attempt to communicate it in the best possible way, but if in their mind they're saying, look, I've been doing this for the past 15 years, how dare you come and throw something new into the mix? How do you begin to change that mentality?
Well, it's with training and upskilling, because I believe all of us are going through that right now. The organization that I work with is going through an entire transformation to go digital, and there is resistance, but what we're doing is that we're going out. So rather than just sending out emails saying things are changing, they're actually physically going out saying, listen, these are the things that are changing. They involve staff in marketing and really empowering the change. But there is this fear, and I heard the other group discussing that, this fear of change, particularly with digital transformation, artificial intelligence coming in. And also one of the challenges that we have is a generational gap of new employees coming into the market, the younger staff coming in, and when we give them policies and procedures to read, they're like, there must be an easier way to do this. So whilst we may have a traditional way of doing business, the market is changing, and so we need to start upskilling, and that's why it comes with training, preparing persons for the next steps. So it is that's there that we need to then drive that change, and they look at HR for that.
I want to talk about the association, the Belize Association of Human Resource Professionals. What exactly is this association? Is it a space for HR professionals to meet as an association to gather best practices on how to improve their organization that they work and represent?
Yes, and it's not only for HR professionals, and we also target business owners, small business entrepreneurs, people in heads of departments, managers, and anyone really out there wanting to work with people or helping to manage people. Our organization caters for that. However, we did recognize that the market lacked a space for individuals, like-minded individuals like herself, to connect, and we wanted to have a space where you could learn and you could grow, and also provide practical tools to get the job done. So it's not textbook. You're going to be able to meet and network and get real life ideas and situation and how do you solve problems. So that was essential how our organization or association got started and what we're catering towards.
So the entire topic, of course, this segment offers just a bit of a taste of what it's like being a part of an association like this. Are we hoping to gather persons to join the association? Will we be expecting events or sessions that individuals can take part in?
Yes, actually we have been established since June 22nd, 2020.
All right, another pandemic formation.
Yes, and so what happened is, since it was a pandemic, we were having online sessions and seminars. And so now for the very first time, we'll be hosting what we call a game changer, for the first time in Belize, an HR summit on November 14th at the Biltmore Plaza. And we look forward to have a great day, and Candice can give more information on what to expect.
So we are inviting persons to attend the event, and then what we'll be having is several topics leading, particularly like with leadership, HR as leaders. We're going to be having some keynote speakers, some senior HR executives from some international speakers joining us to discuss those areas as well. And then we're going to be talking about culture in the workplace. Maybe Danielle could explain a little bit more about that. But our topics are more focused on bringing HR together, empowering HR. We're going to be hearing real life case studies about what's happening in the industry, because you may have the situation happening in your organization, it's happening in another organization.
It's not unique.
It's not unique, right? And so we will be able to share in a safe space, because the type of work that we do is very confidential.
Yes.
But there needs to be a safe space for HR to discuss certain things, right? And that's what the summit aims to do, is to bring, particularly with networking opportunities, meeting other HR professionals out there. Like she said, we've done all of our sessions online. We've had quite an impact, and we've gotten good feedback with the sessions that we've held. And now we want to put a face to the association and really meet who are out there and who drive the talent pool in Belize.
Well, congratulations to you, Juan, for forming the association and being around for the past 4 years. We are always inspired when we see the different businesses and organizations, associations that have come out of the pandemic, the innovation that has been born from the pandemic as well. One of the things that I definitely want to go back to is that work culture topic that you mentioned, because I think it goes without saying that every workplace has a work culture, whether it's positive or negative, that's yet to be said. But perhaps the more challenging ones to break into is the negative, or are the negative work cultures, where it's been around for generations, for decades. As HR professionals, how do you fix that?
It starts from the top. It starts from the top. And it's being able to realize the market and for example, Candice saying the generational gap. So older HR heads, that we like to call them, you cannot motivate a millennial or a Gen Z the same way.
That's true.
So you have to be open to learning new ways and techniques, and listening. Active listening is key. And you have to be surrounded with others that share similar goals or understand where does the business want to go, and having your HR professional to say, we could do that, we could increase this, we could add that. However, this is what we propose, this is the right method. We need to ensure we're engaging with the staff, bringing them together and making sure they're informed. Because the minute you're doing things without bringing or collaborating with them, they're gonna just feel left out, and then you don't get that motivated and engaged employee anymore.
Danielle, that was such a golden nugget there, and I remember a few months ago speaking with one of the other co-hosts about how different generations work. When you think of the boomers, and when you think of when you compare the boomers to the Gen Zs, that are, the moment something goes wrong, they're like, all right, I'm gonna head out. You know, I imagine it takes different techniques to interact and to manage different generations. And of course, it begs the question, is that the responsibility of these managers or leaders, or should these employees come and recognize that you have a job to fill, and it's not so much about the generation that you represent?
It's both, because whilst we would think that you are prepared for the workplace, it's just a different style of a different mindset, different learning. What you're exactly saying. One day they would just decide, I'm gone, and then we're like, you need to serve notice, you need to do this, and they're like,
I'm gonna head out.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, and we're like, okay,
Yeah,
right? And so they're not. I don't think it's that they're not informed. It's just that they don't. I think it's just
It's just a different generational way of thinking.
It is, and even attracting them to work to an organization. The organization I work for, like I said, is very, step by step. This is what we do, and when they come in, it's even attracting them to wanting to work. Because then they will compare you to companies that are paying more by the dollar, and so they're more motivated by the dollar value, when some organizations have benefits and insurance and vacation, and they're like, yeah, no, we want to know how much you're paying now, right?
But make no mistake, they also bring value.
But they do,
and that's I think the irony of it, and where the conversation is so important. But ladies, I wish we had more time. As we wrap up this segment, I just want to remind our viewers of the date, time and location of the conference, and of course why they can benefit from it.
Well, registration ends on November 1st, so sign up. It's $250 per individual, and you can check us out or sign up at our website on www.hrbelize.bz. And we're also giving away a ticket today.
Wonderful.
So whoever signs up today or sends us an email at BelizeHRAssociation@gmail.com. Send us an email right now and you get yourself a free ticket. And it's November 14th at the Biltmore Plaza.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a wonderful conversation. We could have gone so much more, but of course, this is all the time we have. We wish to have you guys back very soon, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to take another quick break, and when we come back, the conversation switches into NCFC on Belize Child Justice League. Stay with us. We'll be right back.